Like all of the original 13 colonies, Pennsylvania is fiercely proud of its colonial history. Heritage Day in Easton celebrates several aspects of the city's history, culture, and community, with the highlight of the festival being the reading of the entire Declaration of Independence, just as it was almost 250 years ago. Here are the main elements and themes typically celebrated during Heritage Day. Colonial history. Easton has a significant colonial heritage, being one of the 3 cities where the Declaration of Independence was read publicly for the first time. Heritage Day often includes reenactments and demonstrations related to colonial life, showcasing how early settlers lived, worked, and interacted in the region. Revolutionary War. The event commemorates Easton's role during the American Revolution. Historical reenactments and demonstrations might include military drills, presentations about local heroes and events, and discussions about the impact of the Revolutionary War on the region. Cultural diversity. Easton has a rich cultural tapestry shaped by diverse communities over the centuries. Heritage Day celebrates this diversity through cultural exhibits, performances, and demonstrations. It showcases traditions, arts, crafts, music, and cuisine from various cultural backgrounds represented in the area. Local arts and crafts. Artisan demonstrations are a highlight of Heritage Day, offering visitors the chance to see traditional crafts such as blacksmithing, pottery making, weaving, spinning, and more. These demonstrations often highlight skills that have been passed down through generations and contribute to the cultural heritage of Easton. Community pride. Beyond historical and cultural elements, Heritage Day fosters community pride and engagement. It brings together residents, visitors, local businesses, and organizations to celebrate Easton's unique identity and history. The event serves as a platform for community members to share their stories, traditions, and talents. In essence, Heritage Day is a vibrant celebration that honors the city's past while embracing its present diversity and community spirit. It provides an opportunity for education, entertainment, and connection among people of all backgrounds who call Easton home or visit to experience its rich heritage.
Citizens, any moment now, Robert Levers will be here to share with us that important declaration from the Continental Congress. I am told that the Pennsylvania Committee of Safety has decreed that it should be read aloud at 12 noon on this day in all the colonies. It must be of great import.
Citizens of Pennsylvania, a letter from the island of New York. There are presently over 100 British ships of war arrived in New York Harbor. Thousands of British regulars are preparing to attack Manhattan and Long Island. There is also intelligence that the king has employed foreign mercenaries against us, and the regulars are being joined by a good number of German Hessian soldiers. Men from the county of Northampton are encouraged to join Kichline's flying camp, which will be leaving to aid General Washington in New York and will be marching in a matter of days. Men of the flying camp are to serve until December 1st of this year, unless sooner dismissed by Congress. They will be paid and fed the same as soldiers of the Continental Army. Privates will be paid $29 a month, as well as a $3 bonus for serving out of state. You should furnish yourself with a good, effective firearm, cartridge box, and blanket. Colonel Kichline will be attending the reading of the Declaration from the Continental Congress. Any able-bodied man who wishes to join can seek him out after the reading. There will be a $1 sign-on bonus paid upon enlisting.
Come hear the Declaration read. the Declaration read. Come hear the Declaration read. From the Continental Congress in Philadelphia, a declaration that will free the colonies from British tyranny from this time forward. A declaration written by Thomas Jefferson of Virginia, John Adams of Massachusetts, and Pennsylvania's own, the Honorable and Esteemed Dr. Benjamin Franklin. Citizens of Easton and Northampton County, will you hear this document read? Yeah. Will you hear this document read? Yeah. In Congress, July 4th, 1776, a declaration by the representatives of the United States of America in General Congress assembled. When, in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes that impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Yes. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles, and organizing its powers in such forms as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed that will dictate that governments, long established, should not be changed for light and transient causes. And accordingly, all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable, than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, then it is their right, it is their duty, to throw off such governments and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter the former systems of government. The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. He has refused his assent to laws, the most wholesome and necessary for the public good. He has forbidden his governors to pass laws of immediate and pressing importance, unless suspended in their operation till his assent should be obtained, and when so suspended, he has utterly neglected to attend to them. He has called together legislative bodies at places unusual, uncomfortable, and distant from the depository of public records for the sole purpose of fatiguing them into compliance with his measures. He has dissolved representative houses repeatedly for opposing with manly firmness his invasions on the rights of the people. He has endeavored to prevent the population of these states, for that purpose obstructing the laws for naturalization of foreigners, refusing to pass others to encourage the migrations hither, and raising the conditions of new appropriations of lands. He has obstructed the administration of justice by refusing his assent to laws for establishing judiciary powers. He has made judges dependent on his will alone for the tenure of their offices and the amount and payment of their salaries. He has erected a multitude of new offices and sent hither swarms of officers to harass our people and to eat out their substance. He has kept among us in times of peace standing armies without the consent of our legislature. He has effected to render the military independent of and superior to the civil power, for quartering large bodies of armed troops among us, for protecting them by mock trial from punishments for any murders which they should commit on the inhabitants of these states, for cutting off our trade with all parts of the world, for imposing taxes on us without our consent. Come forward. Move these men to the side. Move these papers to the side. Move them to the side. Move them to the side. Move them to the side, and they may have the pleasure to hear the rest of the declaration, and then they may spend the rest of the week in the jail. For cutting off our trade with all parts of the world, for imposing taxes on us without our consent, for depriving us in many cases of the benefits of trial by jury, for transporting us beyond seas to be tried for pretended offenses, for taking away our charters, abolishing our most valuable laws, and altering fundamentally the forms of our governments, for suspending our own legislatures and declaring themselves invested with power to legislate for us in all cases whatsoever. He has abdicated government here by declaring us out of his protection and waging war against us. He has plundered our seas, ravaged our coast, burnt our towns, and destroyed the lives of our people. He is, at this time, transporting large armies of foreign mercenaries to complete the works of death, desolation, and tyranny already begun, with circumstances of cruelty and perfidy scarcely paralleled in the most barbarous ages and totally unworthy of the head of a civilized nation. He has constrained our fellow citizens, taken captive on the high seas, to bear arms against their country, to become the executioners of their friends and brethren, or to fall themselves by their hands. He has excited domestic insurrections amongst us and has endeavored to bring on the inhabitants of our frontiers the merciless Indian savages whose known rule of warfare is an undistinguished destruction of all ages, sexes, and conditions. In every stage of these oppressions, we have petitioned for redress in the most humble terms. Our repeated petitions have been answered only by repeated injury. A prince whose character is thus marked by every act which may define a tyrant is unfit to be the ruler of a free people. Nor have we been wanting in attentions to our British brethren. We have warned them from time to time of attempts by their legislature to extend an unwarrantable jurisdiction over us. We have reminded them of the circumstances of our emigration and settlement here. We have appealed to their native justice and magnanimity, and we have conjured them by the ties of our common kindred to disavow these usurpations which would inevitably interrupt our connections and correspondence. They too have been deaf to the voice of justice and consanguinity. We must, therefore, acquiesce in the necessity which denounces our separation and hold them as we hold the rest of mankind, enemies in war, in peace, friends. We therefore, the representatives of the United States of America in General Congress assembled, appealing to the Supreme Judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions, do, in the name and by the authority of the good people of these colonies, solemnly publish and declare that these united colonies are and of right ought to be free and independent states. That they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved. And that as free and independent states, they shall have full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and do all other acts and things which independent states may of right do. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other. And now you will repeat after me. We mutually pledge to each other. We mutually pledge to each other. Our lives, our fortunes, our sacred honor, may God long preserve and unite the free and independent states of America. Three huzzahs for the country! Hip hip huzzah! Hip hip huzzah! Hip hip huzzah!
Now, Cynthia, watch me very carefully. I would like you to place your hands at your sides while I do this. Thus. Yes, sir! Great. Okay, you put your arm down now. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I have asked these two very brave volunteers to stand in this open space because I'm about to take the star of my show. I was going to be out of the applause. Napoleon Boudreaux! Yes, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your support. Now, I'm going to note Napoleon's little Bertha. Now, little Bertha is the world's most powerful police yet. And I'm going to fire little Bertha, and Napoleon is going to rocket across this open space at near supersonic speed.
After getting to pet and hold baby goats, I enjoyed Mr. Lee's noodles for lunch. Then I got to listen and observe the reenactments of our city's and country's history be told. But I was truly honored to be chosen as a volunteer at Phydeaux's Flying Flea Circus and Wahoo Medicine Show with this brave young man. This warm summer Sunday afternoon could not have been more entertaining.
Let's have an opponent on basketball and Flea. Let's get over there and hold this to a brave volunteer. Take a bow for you.